Okay, so this is the marking for required practical 7, measuring reaction times, for the person who's numbered number 1. Okay, you've only put in your independent dependent variable. That shows me you haven't done very much of your homework. You know hypothesis, control variables, and the method, and your results table. So you need to watch the rest of this video to find out how to do that. So, person number 2. Okay, this person hasn't written a hypothesis. So it says the human reaction time can be affected by several factors. You're going to choose one factor to investigate and you'll write a hypothesis. A hypothesis is like a question. So I'll help you write your hypothesis. So you're going to change the height of the ruler, best measure how far quickly it drops. And you're going to measure how quickly my partner is able to catch the ruler. Well, that's the method. Okay. That needs to go down here. You're changing one thing in this investigation, and that is what your independent variable is, the thing that you change. I put examples here. Listening to music, gender, talking to someone. So during class we put music in, and we did it with music and without music. So that's your independent variable. So what you put in here is wrong. Okay? Your dependent variable is what you measure. So yes, you're measuring how quickly your partner catches it, but actually what you need to write in here is centimetres on ruler where caught. Okay, so it's got to have a unit on it. Control variables, 3 things you keep the same. Keep your hand on the table, that's good. So you've said what could change, the hand moving. What effect would it have? You haven't written the effect that it's going to have on if you move your hand. It will change the result that you catch it at. And how you'll control it. You've done that. So you're going to say, keep your hand on the table. Make sure the ruler starts at 0. Brill? Okay, say why. Why is it going to start at 0? Because otherwise it's going to alter the end result. You're going to catch it in the wrong place. Methods. First, get your equipment and a ruler partner and be next to something able to lean your hand on. Then put your hand by the edge of the table and in that posture to catch something that's going to fall. Tell your partner to drop the ruler unexpectedly and try to catch it as quickly as you can. Make sure you level the ruler up to 0 so it's a fair test. Brilliant. So you've said all of those things. It needs to be 1, 2, 3, 4. You haven't got any valid results yet because you haven't said you're going to do it 3 times or calculate a mean. Keep your hand on the edge of the table, but other than that, you've said everything in there is correct. So make sure you write down 3 times. And then this bit, your table of results, you need if you need to buy alcohol, you have to buy I and D, okay? You need ID to buy alcohol. So your independent variable is going to go here. So you're right, the loud music. Your dependent is centimetres caught. Okay, so you need to write that at the top. And you've calculated your mean. That's not a mean. You've added those up. You haven't divided by 3. So currently your means are wrong. You need to divide by 3 in order to calculate the mean. Okay? I don't know how you filled this in because this is about evaluating your procedure after you've done it. So we've only done it today. Used a black pen. This shouldn't be filled in. You need to get another sheet. Right, if you've got a number 3 on it. So, number 3, this person hasn't finished off your investigation, your hypothesis. So, perhaps you would have them not see if, and then tell them and see if they catch it in time. Okay, so the time they see it, but you haven't said what you're changing. Let me just have a look at your results table. Okay, so you put students' names, but you haven't said what's different. Okay, yeah, that's different people, but you're not saying what's affecting the reaction time. So you needed to have changed something in your investigation. So if they were listening to music, if they were a boy or a girl, and if they were talking to someone, or if they ate sweets, or if they drank Coke, or anything like that, okay? So make sure you write down your independent variable. Control variable, 3 things are going to change. Measure and put your thumb on the top, or make sure that the top of the ruler is at the top of your thumb. The ruler has to be in a good position. What's the good position? Okay, that's linked to that. you will have to see to somewhere bright. You will have to see so somewhere bright. Why? So what could change? Okay, if the person could see it, how will it affect it? Well, it changes if they catch it in time, or where they catch it. How will you control it? We'll sit somewhere bright. Okay, you need to write down 3 things and say these 3 things at the side. So what could change? Where you catch it. Oh, keeps zooming in. Hang on, sorry, phone's having a wobble. What could change? Where you catch it, what it could affect, how quickly it takes you to catch it, how do you control it? You make sure your thumb is at the top. The other one is make sure your arm's on the table, make sure you use your dominant hand. I like your method. It's got step 1, 2, 3, 4. The person being tested should sit with their arm resting on the edge of this, should stop them moving their arm. So that's a control variable you haven't written up here. Hold the ruler vertically between their thumb and forefinger. Make sure that the 0 end of the ruler is level with their thumb and finger. Then let go with no warning. Yep. The person that is being tested should catch it quickly and see where it falls. Reaction time is measured by the number on the ruler where it's caught. And say that you're going to use a conversion chart to turn it into time in seconds. Repeat the test several times, 3 times. Okay, say how many times. Then calculate a mean distance that the ruler fell. Perfect, that's great. The person being tested should then have caffeine drink. There, you've done it. Your caffeine drink. That is your independent variable. Then, after 10 minutes. It might take longer for your caffeine to sit in, so you might want to say 30 minutes or an hour. Okay, obviously we don't have that time in class. And then at the top, you need your independent along there and dependent across the top. So what you've said you're going to change is if they've had caffeine or not. So you don't have different people's names. You have had caffeine or no caffeine. And then centimetre on ruler where caught. Number 1, number 2, number 3. And you've calculated your mean perfectly. So add them up, divide by 3. Great. Person number 4. Okay, person number 4. You've done a hypothesis. Would the result be different with caffeine in your system? So it needs to be not a question, but more of a statement. So human reaction times will be affected by caffeine. That's fine, just to say that. Or you could say human reaction times will be affected by caffeine. And then perhaps it's because I think reaction times would be faster when grabbing a ruler because caffeine in your system. The because is more explaining what you know about science. So we know that caffeine actually stimulates nerves to react faster, and that's what your explain would be. So I think the reaction times in my experiment will be faster when people have had caffeine because we know that caffeine stimulates nerves to react quicker. One factor you're going to investigate, so you should have said caffeine here. So you're going to, that's right, you've crossed it out, check the spelling. Reaction time, can you put, it's going to be either in centimetres or you're going to convert that into seconds. So make sure you've got your units on there. Control variables, use the same hand each time. Yeah, perfect. So you could say what's changing. How would that affect your results? Well, if you use your dominant hand or not, depends if you're going to catch it fast or slow. So you need to make sure you've said that, and then say how you're going to control it, which is what you've said. Use the same hand. Same hand or dominant hand. You need to decide and be really specific. Use the same person throughout the whole experiment. Yes, that's a perfect control variable, because if you change the person, so this is what you haven't said, if you change the person, their reaction times might be different. If we didn't do this, we should have a fair test. Okay, we wouldn't have a fair test. You need 3 control variables. Okay, so something else that you're keeping the same might be where the ruler is at the top of your thumb. Method, really looking good. 1, 2, 3, 4. I like the steps. Person being tested should sit with their arm resting on the edge of the table. This should stop them moving their arm up and down. Yeah, so that's your control variable. You've said it really well there. You've got to put it up there. Hold the ruler vertically between thumb and forefinger. Make sure the 0... Perfect, you've done another control variable. You just didn't write it up there. The person being tested should try and catch the ruler as quickly as he can, as soon as they see it fall. Reaction time is measured by the number on the ruler where it's caught. Perfect. Say that you're going to use a conversion table to turn it into seconds. Repeat the test several times, 3 times, and then calculate a mean. The person being tested should have caffeine drink after 10 minutes. Repeat steps 1 to 5. It'll probably be about 30 minutes, okay? Because that means the caffeine will kick in. Perfect. That is a really valid and reliable experiment. You're going to get results out of that. And on the back, your results. Distance in centimetres, perfect. If you just write cm is fine. You haven't said here, so you've crossed it all out, but caffeine or not. You've changed more than one thing here. You said talking. So you're going to have caffeine, which Pepsi, or no caffeine. You don't need to do the talking because you're changing more than one thing, alright? So Pepsi or non-Pepsi is fine. And then we'll do this bit next lesson. Great. Person number 5. Okay, I think when a person isn't distracted by anything, their reaction time will be quicker than when there will be lots of noise and then their reaction times are slower. So you could say they're going to be distracted. Oh, you have. Whoops. So you need it as a statement. That's what a hypothesis is. The human reaction time will be slower when humans are distracted. Okay? Independent variable, the amount of noise around them. Perfect. Are you going to be using music or non-music? You need to be specific as to what it is, and then your reaction time is going to be in seconds. So as in you put units on this one, you've got to say what it is that you're going to be changing. So you could have loud music or no loud music. You could be shouting in their face, but you've got to be specific as to what it is you're changing. Position of the ruler, lighting in the room, measure the top of the thumb. This could ruin the potential. It wouldn't be a fair test if we did it differently. Perfect. Perfect. You need to say down here what you're changing and why. So position of the ruler, the effect that this could have, people would be catching it in a different place. It give you inaccurate centimetres. You control it by making sure the thumb is at the top. Okay, so that technically is one control variable. Lighting in the room. Why is that important and what you're going to do? So you're going to set, you're going to dark or light. You're not being specific. What could change? Lighting in the room. How could it affect it? What's going to change the centimetres to which you catch it? How will you control it? You're going to control it by being in a well-lit room, okay? Classroom with the lights on. You need another control variable, okay? You might have it down here, so let's read on. I like you've done it in steps. Perfect. Person being tested should sit with their arm resting on the edge of the table. There you go. That's your other control variable you haven't written up there. Great. Hold the ruler vertically between thumb and forefinger. Make sure the 0 is at the end of the ruler. It's level with their thumb and forefinger. Then let go. Person being tested should catch the ruler quickly as soon as they see it fall. Reaction time is measured by the number of the ruler where it's caught. The further down it's caught, i.e. the number, the slower the reaction time. Yeah, perfect. Say that you're going to use a conversion table to do that. Repeat several times. 3 times, please. Repeat it 3 times. Then calculate a mean. Perfect. Person being tested should then drink caffeine after 30 minutes, please. 10 minutes won't let it, the caffeine won't go around your body quick enough. You will need to control any variables and make sure it's a fair test. Well, you've said that up here, alright? Have you said calculate a mean? Yes. The person should test it, drink, and then repeat steps 1 to 5. Oh, that's perfect. You've done it really well. That's good. And then here, dependent variable. Well, I know that the dependent variable goes here, but what is the dependent variable? Okay, so you need to write position on ruler or centimetres on ruler where caught, not dependent variable. You have to say what the dependent variable is. Independent variable, normal and music. Well, no music and music. So in here, you could have volume of noise. All right, whatever you've written on the other page on your independent variable. Right. Okay. Human reaction times. If a person is something, they will be slower. So we know that human reaction times are affected by different things. So you're going to write down here what you think is going to happen based on how much caffeine they drink. So the human reaction time will be affected by caffeine. Explain how you know that. What does caffeine do to the body? it makes you speed your reactions up. So you'd say something like, human reaction time will be affected by caffeine, because we know that caffeine increases our reaction times and how quickly nerves react. Okay? Dependent variable, where the person caught the ruler. So you could have a position on ruler in centimeters there. Okay? Rather than position, you need like a bullet point statement. Control variable, I'll keep the ruler in the same something, not finished. I would keep the person dropping the ruler the same. Okay? What could change the person dropping the ruler? How could that affect your result? What does the changing the person do to your result? How will you control it? So you've said that. Okay? So you need to say something like, if you change the person, their reaction times could be different, and so I will keep the person dropping the ruler the same. I like your method. It's in steps. Step 1, 2, 3, it's really clear. The person being tested should sit with their arm resting on the table. That's a control variable. Put it up there. Okay? You're missing marks out because you haven't written it up there. Hold the ruler vertically between the thumb and forefinger. Make sure the ruler... You haven't said that up here either. Okay? That's another control variable. Put that up there. The person being tested should try and catch the ruler as quickly as they can as soon as they see it fall. Yep. Reaction time is measured by the number on the ruler where it is. The further it's called down, the slower their reaction time. Yeah, you could say that you're going to be using a conversion table to turn that into seconds. Repeat the test several times. 3 times. Say how many. And then calculate a mean. Perfect. Means you're getting valid results. Person being tested should then do caffeine and then repeat step 1 to 5. Perfect, because you've said repeat this and then you can have 2 different values and you can compare them. Great. On the back, distance they caught the ruler out. Perfect, put centimetres. And then this, Lucozade, no Lucozade, talking. So you've said caffeine and no caffeine, so you don't need the talking bit, okay? So just write caffeine in your independent variable, all right, if they've had caffeine or not. And then we'll do this later. Okay. I think they will have a faster reaction time with caffeine. They, humans, people, okay, rather than right they. This will make them hyper. Okay, so you've said what you know about what the body does. What does that mean, hyper? They'll have more sugar in their body, they'll have more energy, their nerves might be working quicker. So be more scientific in what you're saying. Look it up. How does caffeine affect the body? Be really specific in your explanation, okay? Person with and without caffeine, great. Reaction time. Okay, you're going to do that in seconds or you're going to do it where the ruler's caught. So if it's where the ruler is caught, in centimetres, that's what you need to write there. And then you need to say that you're using a conversion table to turn it into seconds. To make it fair test, you'll need to always measure from the top of the thumb. Yep. Always drop the ruler at 0 from the top of the thumb. Use the ruler, the same type of material. Yeah, all perfect. You need to make sure you've answered these questions. So what could change? This bit. How will that affect your result? Well, if it's not at the top of the thumb, it's going to affect you where they've caught it, so your centimetres. So how will you control it? You've said that. Make sure you're saying how it's going to affect it. A variable effect control table is better than putting it in like that. So a variable effect control table means you would write down variable, then effect, and control. So you say the thing that could change the variable. So position of ruler, effect, where the ruler's caught in centimetres, control, always measure the top of the ruler from the thumb, and you do that for every single one. You're always going to answer these questions here. I like your picture, and I like the numbers down the side. It makes it really clear. Person should rest their hand on the edge of the table. That's another control variable you haven't written up there. Hold the ruler between your first finger and thumb. Make sure that the ruler is just about level with the top of your thumb. Then someone should let go without a warning. Yep. Person who is being tested should catch the ruler as quickly as they can. Then see the number on the ruler that the person's caught the ruler at and read it. The reaction number is slow. The higher the number, the slower the reaction. Yep, say that you're going to use a conversion table to turn it into seconds. Repeat this practical 3 times. Perfect. Not several, 3. Great. Find the mean. Calculate the mean. Yeah. Then the person should drink caffeine, which you're going to say is Coke, and then repeat this 3 times. Are you going to wait any time for the caffeine to kick in? So you need about 30 minutes in there for that caffeine to go around your body and get into your bloodstream. So make sure you've written that down and find the mean again. What you can do is say, oh, you've done it. No, repeat this 3 times. So rather than say repeat this 3 times, you say repeat steps 1 to 5 3 times. And that way you make sure you've included all of these things again, all right? So make sure you add that on there, and that makes it a perfect method. Your drop number, perfect. Write centimetres, please. You need units. What they have, well, caffeine or no caffeine. Normal means no caffeine, and caffeine means caffeine, doesn't it? Why have you done loud talking? You should only change one variable, okay? So caffeine or no caffeine, we do not need this result here. Okay, we're on to number 8. Okay, I can see that you've struggled to write your hypothesis. Hypothesis is more like a statement. So human reaction, so I'm just reading it out here. Human reaction time can be affected by several factors. You're going to choose one factor to investigate. So you've chosen one thing you're going to investigate. You've written it here, okay? Write down what you think is going to happen with that reaction time. So you could say the human reaction time is affected by the volume of music. Explain. The louder the volume, the more we're distracted, the slower we're going to be able to react. All right? That's your hypothesis. That's all you need to say. So you can pause it, rewind it, and rewrite that down. You're going to measure people's reaction times. What exactly are you recording down? Because in class, you recorded where on the ruler they caught it in centimetres. So you need to say position of ruler caught, and then in centimetres. And then we convert this into reaction time. So you can't just time the reaction times, it's too fast. Alright? So change that one. Control variable. I will keep the headphones the same. Yep. I will keep the same audio playing. Yep, same song. The phone audio quality could change depending on the charge level. It could, probably won't, but still another thing to keep in mind. If I didn't control it, it would be a mixed result. Yeah, it would. There's some other things you've not included. Is where on the ruler you're starting. So it's going to be on the top of your thumb. The ruler is going to be in line with the top of your thumb. You can have your arm on the desk. You haven't said this as well, okay? The best way to do this is to write a variable effect control. I'll write a bigger one for you, a variable effect control table. So a variable effect control table looks like this, and you can draw this in this box. It makes things easier. So variable, something that could change. So you've said headphones. So your variable that could change, you write headphones. The effect that headphones could have is that they have different volumes. So you're going to control it, you keep the headphones the same. Another variable, same audio, so type of music. Okay, effect is going to affect where you catch the ruler at. Okay, because it's going to affect your overall result if you've got a different type of music. If you've got classical music playing versus heavy rock, that's going to distract you. Okay, it's going to affect where you catch the ruler in centimetres. So you're going to control it by keeping the song the same. All right, and that answers all those questions down the side. You're going to get all the marks for that question. Equipment. I like that you've included equipment. A lot of people haven't. Method steps. I like 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. I will get a fellow student, give them the headphones, plug them into your phone. You will ready the audio tape. I will play the tape 3 times, each time going up 3 points. Okay. Each time the audio is played, I will drop the meter ruler for the test. Subjects catch. They won't know when I drop it yet, so you can drop it without them knowing. I will then record and measure and put them into the graph. On here, you haven't said about making sure that you've got your arm on the table and that where the ruler is going to be dropped from, and that the ruler is the right way round in the first place. So you're going to have it at 0, not at 100. Okay? So make sure you put that in there. The other thing you need to say that you've said 3 times. Oh no, you've said you're going to go up 3 times. You haven't said you're going to carry this out each variable 3 times. So you're going to do each volume 3 times. So you do the first volume, they do it 3 times, and you calculate the mean. Then you turn up by 3 and calculate the mean. So on here, you should say something like, I will play the audio, I will drop the meter ruler when they're when they don't know about it. I will then carry this out 3 times, calculate a mean. I will repeat steps 1 to 5, and each time turning the volume up by 3. And that way you've included everything in here. All right. On the back, so your results table. I love it. You put in your volume. You don't need to write independent variable. I want to know what the independent variable is. Volume of phone. Okay. Experiment result. What is the result here? Okay. You've got reaction time. So you've taken your centimeters caught. You've gone straight to the board and you've done it. So this is reaction time in seconds. You need to write that at the top. All right. Perfect. Okay, so number 9. I think that the louder we play the music, the slower the reaction time will be. Amazing hypothesis, perfect. This will happen because the brain will be focusing on other things. Yeah, it'll be distracted. Great, you know you've put in some science about this. Type of music. So are you going to have music on and music off? Because if it is, it's going to be if there is music on or off, or the volume of the music. Let me just check the results. No music, favourite song. Oh, brilliant. Perfect. So, type of music. You've got it right. The number on the ruler, it's been called in centimetres. Okay, centimetres on the end. When you do your results table, if you do it in a variable effect control table, they look like this. All right. So you can draw a little table in this bit here. Variable effect control. So the variable, the thing that can change, the ruler length. No one else has thought that yet, so that's a good one. The ruler length, the effect it's going to have, where the person's able to catch it from. And the weight of the ruler means it's going to drop quicker or slower. Control, you're going to use a 1 metre ruler from the science class. All right? Could be wooden or something. The person, so the variable, the person, what's the person, changing the person going to affect? Their reaction time might be different. So it will affect the reaction time or where it's caught. So you're going to keep the person the same. The table, I assume you mean putting your arm on the table. So you could have position of ruler effect. If you move the position of the ruler, or you move if you don't have your hand flat on the table, the person can jump up and grab it. So they're going to change the centimetres where it's caught. Control, keep your arm on the table. Thumb at 0, okay? Variable, position of ruler, effect, where it's caught. Control, keep your thumb at 0. You haven't done dominant hand, but you've got 4 control variables. You only need 3. And you need to make sure you've done this, so you've answered all of those questions there, so you get all the marks. These questions can be worth a lot of points, all right? I like that you've done it in steps. The person being tested should sit with the arm resting on the edge of the table, hold a ruler vertically between the thumb and forefinger, make sure the 0 end of the ruler. See, that's a control. You've not written, oh, you have. Yeah, you have. Play very loud music and then let go without warning. Measure the number on the ruler and add it to your results table. Yeah. Repeat this 3 times. Do this 3 times, calculate a mean. Step 7's missing. You've got 4 different things you've done here. So then you need to say, repeat steps 1 to 6 and change the music to favourite song, energetic music and slow music. Then you've got some really good valid results, all right? At the top, in order to remember what goes across the top, you always have your independent on the left-hand side and dependent across the top. Type of music, time caught, or time in seconds, reaction time in seconds, sorry. All right, so make sure that's up there. Looking good? I think that the person will have a slower reaction time when listening to music. Great, you've put that's a good hypothesis. I think this because listening to music will be distracting. Okay, sorry, I was just checking it wasn't like somebody else's. Listening to music, not listening to music. Great, reaction time, seconds. When you do control tables or writing down your control variables, can you do a variable effect control table? All right. So in that bit there, draw this out. So have variable effect control, variable, person, okay, effect. Their reaction times are different. Control, use the same person. Variable, ruler, effect, where it's caught. use the same ruler. Same person dropping the ruler, okay? You could have person carrying out the test, effect, or they could drop it in a different way, or they could have a tell, like a sign that they're going to drop it. They might drop it wrong. Always measure from the top of the thumb. So position of ruler, effect, where it's caught. Always measure from the top of the thumb. And always measure from 0. The same. Position of the ruler. And then you can have it over here, control 0 on the ruler. Person 1 sits. I like that you've got bullet points with numbered bullet points. Person 1 sits with their arm resting on the table. Person 2 holds the ruler vertically by the end of the thumb. Make sure there's 0 at the end of it. Person 2 lets go of the ruler with no warning. I like that. Person 1 try to catch the ruler as fast as they can. Measure the reaction time by the number on the ruler where it's caught. The lower the number, the faster the reaction time. Perfect. You could say that you're going to use a conversion table for this to turn it into centimetres. Repeat 3 times. Perfect. You put a number on it. Some people have written repeat it a number of times. Say 3. You've said you're going to calculate a mean. Perfect. Change the independent variable. Great. Listening to music, drink some caffeine. And, I love it. This is great. That's perfect. That method is GCSE ready. All right. Drop test. Your independent always goes on the left hand side, dependent up the side. So I remember, what do you need to buy alcohol? ID. Type of music. Okay. So type of music here. Reaction time, seconds. Great. Okay, so you've struggled with writing your hypothesis. A hypothesis is a statement. So human reaction times can be affected by several factors. You've said here, I'm going to be listening to music. So all you have to say up here is, what do you think the music's going to do? It's a bit like a prediction, but as a statement. So human reaction times will be affected by music. Explain why. Human reaction times will be affected by music because their attention could be focused on the music rather than catching, so it could slow them down. Alright? Independent variable, perfect. Where the thumb land when they catch the ruler. Centimetres, please. When you're doing control variables, make sure you do a variable effect control table. Okay, variable effect control table looks like this. You're going to make sure that their arm is in the same place resting on the table every time. So you need 3 things you're going to keep the same. The variable, the thing that you're going to keep the same. So position of arm, effect. Well, it's going to affect your experiment because they could jump up and catch it, couldn't they? So your effect is where their thumb lands in centimetres. How are you going to control that? You've written that there. So that bit there goes at the end, and you add those 2 bits in here. Okay, I'm just going to read through your method and see if you've written any more control variables, but not put it up here. I like that you've got it in steps. That's perfect. Person being tested should sit with their arm on the edge of the table. Yep. Hold the ruler vertically between the thumb and forefinger. So you haven't said that in your control. So you could have position of the ruler, effect, where it's caught in centimetres, control, hold it between thumb and forefinger. Make sure it's at 0, and make sure it's at 0. Put that on your table. Let it go without giving any notice. Yep. The person being tested should try and catch the ruler as... That's a control variable. Any notice. Okay. Person being tested should try and catch the ruler as quickly as they can. Reaction time is measured by the number on the ruler where it's caught. Further down it's caught, the higher the number, the slower the reaction time. Yeah. You could say that you're going to use a conversion table for that to get it into centimetres. Repeat test several times. 3 times, please. Be specific. Then calculate the mean distance. Perfect. Putting in the mean. Person being tested should then listen to music after 1 minute. Repeat steps 1 to 5. You've said listening to music after 1 minute. So the person's going to be listening to music for a minute. You can turn the music off. Be a bit more specific. Okay, you put I and D. Distance, great. With centimetres. Music. Type of music or type of distraction. You've said music or no music in your independent variable, so you don't need the talking one, okay? You could have loud music, quiet music, medium music, no music, but talking is a different variable. It's going to affect it. So only change one thing or it's not valid. All right. Okay. So you need to write a hypothesis up here, okay? So your hypothesis is a question about what you think is going to happen. So it says up here, human reaction times can be affected by several factors. You've said, let me have a little read of your method. There we go. Music, poking, normal. Okay, so that's your independent variable. So you've got a distraction on here. You should pick one thing. So if they've got music on or no music, you don't need poking as well, all right? So music on, no music should be in here. So normal is no music. All right? So on here I can now write my hypothesis because I know what I'm doing. So human reaction times are affected by if they're listening to music. Perhaps this is because music can distract them from what they're doing. So that's what you need to write up here in green pen. Okay? Independent variable. Independent is what you are changing. So it's the music type. Music or no music. Reaction time, yeah. So how quickly your hand gets to the ruler is your dependent variable. And it's in centimetres. Control variable. I will keep the size of the ruler the same. Perfect. I'll keep my arm on the table. Perfect. The thing you could do is put these in a variable effect control table. So you could say the thing that could change is the ruler. So you'd write ruler. Effect, where it's caught. In centimetres. Okay? And the control is you're going to keep the same type of ruler. Alright? Same type of ruler. Then do another one. Keep your arm on the table. So position of arm. Effect, where it's caught. All of these are always the same, where it's caught. Control, I will keep my arm on the table when catching the ruler. Then you can do one more. It could be, let me just look at your results. Firstly, you're going to need a metre long ruler. Secondly, you're going to need a partner. Then you need to put your wrist on the table, hold the ruler. You don't hold the ruler, you put it near the top of your hand, and then someone else drops it. Your partner, so suddenly your partner will drop it and see if your partner has caught it before it touches the ground. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Another variable might be that you position of the ruler, so write position of ruler, it will affect where it is caught, and your control variable will be to make sure that the ruler is on 0 and at the top of your thumb before you drop it. So I want you to rewrite your control variables in your book. I want you to draw this table out and I want you to fill it in by rewinding the video and writing down what I've just told you. Your method should be step by step. So this person has done it step by step. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, step 6. Okay? So in your book, can you write me step 1, step 2, okay? And add these steps on. So you've missed some steps out. So catch before it touches the ground. The next step after this would be to write down the result into your results table. The next step, repeat this 3 times and then calculate a mean. The next step, repeat steps however many you've got written already. Okay, so if this is step 7, you'd write 1 to 6. Okay, you say repeat steps 1 to 6 and this time listen to music. Listen to music. Okay, and you put full stop and then you finish your method. Your results table, it looks good. You need to put independent on the left hand side, dependent on the right. So independent is listening to music, so or type of music or distraction. Okay, across the top, what have you written here? I assume that you've written this is where they caught the ruler in centimetres, or have you got it off the board? So if you've got it off the board, it's reaction time in seconds. So if you got it off the board, you need to write reaction time in seconds. If it's where you caught the ruler position, it's position on ruler centimetres. Okay? You do the same person every time. I've seen you done Boris, Zane and Lewis, alright? It needs to be the same person. So that does the whole experiment. And they do it 3 times, not 3 different people. So let's say it was you doing this. You listen to music, you catch it once, you write it down. You catch it again, you do it again. You catch it a 3rd time, okay? And then you write it down. And then you calculate a mean for when you are listening to music. Then you do it with no music. We don't need the poking one. You do it with no music. Okay, so you do it once with no music, catch it, write it down, do it again, catch it, write it down, do it again, catch it, write it down. And then you calculate your mean. Your mean, you add them up and you divide by 3. Hopefully that's what you've done there. Okay, so you've struggled to write your hypothesis. Can you just rewind the video back and listen to number 11, please, at the start? Listening to music, loud music, perfect. I'm going to keep... you haven't said your independent variable. Can you listen to number 11 for their dependent variable, please? Also, can you listen to 11 for the control variables? So, go back to number 11 on the video and watch it all the way up to their control variables. Okay, the person being tested should sit with their arm on the resting on the table. Perfect control variable. Hold a ruler vertically between their thumb and forefinger. Make sure that the 0 end of the ruler is level with their thumb and finger. Let go without giving any warning. The person then should catch the ruler as quickly as they can. The reaction time is measured by the number on the ruler where it's caught. You could say here that you're going to use a conversion table to turn it into seconds. The higher the number, the slower the reaction time. 5, repeat the steps several times and then calculate the distance on the ruler. Yeah, the ruler fell. Oh, repeat the test several times. Repeat it 3 times and calculate a mean distance. Okay, calculate the mean. The person being tested should then have to listen to loud music after 10 minutes. Why are they having to listen to music for 10 minutes? Shove some loud music in their ears at full volume and then drop the ruler randomly when they're not watching and they have to catch it. Okay? So you just say, repeat steps 1 to 5 but put loud music on. Alright? You don't need to wait half an hour. Why would they sit there for... Oh, it says 10 minutes. Sorry, I apologise. Okay, results table. Music, perfect. Where on the ruler is placed? Centimetres. Okay, low, medium or high, perfect. You need to finish this result, so you haven't finished it. I'll bring a ruler with me next time, okay? So, number 14. Okay. Number 14, my hypothesis, after the noise is increased, reaction time will not cause any change. Could you go back and listen to number 11 for me, like number 11 worksheet, and see what I've said here about the hypothesis, because I'll say the same thing to you, okay? Volume, so you're going to change volume of music, yeah. How are you going to record it? Are you going to have the number of the volume on the phone? Okay, so you'd say what the volume was, so from 0 up to whatever the number you've got on your phone. How many centimetres? Perfect. Pass on the ruler before the subject catches on the meter stick. Yep. Control variables. Can you go back to number 11 and listen to the control variables one as well, please? Okay. It's about, you'll see this table here, and I'll have explained it. Okay, method. The person going to test should put their hand on the edge of the table. Place the ruler at the top of the thumb, top of the ruler without warning. Record the subject's thumb position. Repeat this with increasing independent variable. Okay, that's good, good steps. So I like you've done steps 1 to 4. Repeat with increasing independent variable. Yeah, so say how many you're going to increase the volume by each time. You're going to increase it by number of 3 or something different. I'm just going to find somebody else's, a different number who's also done music. That you can listen to, and then you can improve your method on that one. I found one. Go back to number 8 and see what they've written for their method, okay? Because they've said about how they're going to take it 3 times, take it up by 3 each time. Look at the results table. Brill. Volume, centimetres, perfect. Percentage, so you've done it by percentage, 4 bars, 5 bars. If you just write that in your method and in your independent variable, perfect. And I assume these are the means. 14 centimetres. Oh, you've converted the mean centimetres into reaction time, you need to say that at the end of your method as well. So you need to rewrite your method with that in it. Okay, so your reaction time is quicker if you eat, drink sugary products. Okay, say why. So if I tell you to go back and listen to this bit, okay, for somebody else's, because you are number 15. So hang on, let me have a look. So if you go back and listen to number 6, just as I talk about the results, the hypothesis, then you'll get all of that bit correct as well, all right? Sugar, so you need to say independent variable. So sugar or no sugar. So no, you can say sugar, sugary drinks is fine. You could have type of sugar. What are you measuring? What's your dependent variable? Okay, where you catch the ruler in centimeters. So you need to write position of ruler caught in centimeters. The control variables, can you go to number 11? So the person who's done number 11. Okay, and just look at me talking about this section here. So skip through until you find this bit. All right. Okay, so with this, can you listen to number 6 about how to lay out your method? Okay, because you need it step by step. Having this in it is really good, having a drawing, but having step by step will make it really clear, because what the examiner is looking for is making sure that this is a valid test, that you do it 3 times, you calculate a mean, and you change your independent variable. So if you go back and listen to number 6, where I talk about their method, you will see how they've written it and how it's really good as well, okay? So I like this description. I like that you've written in your independent and which one's going to change, but it needs to be a bit more step by step, okay, and more explicit in what you're doing. Perfect table with your results in it. I assume that you've taken the results off the board, but because you have not written your independent and dependent, I don't know what you've done. So independent, dependent, you need to buy, if you need to buy alcohol, you need I and D. So I always goes in the first one, D always in this one, okay? And you're going to say type of sugar, all right? That's your independent variable. And across the top, reaction time in seconds. We don't put seconds on every single one, all right? Okie dokie. A hypothesis on this reaction time will change using headphones. What I think will happen is the reaction time would slow down because they're listening to music. Yeah? You don't need to write a hypothesis on. You just say human reaction times will be affected by music. And because of what you've written here, you've explained that really well. Okay, so saying that they're distracted is a really good one. You're going to change the reaction time, are you? I thought you were going to change if they're listening to music or not. So your independent variable is music. So you've done, don't know what that means here. So what you should have here is type of music, okay, or volume of music. So you could have music that they like, music that they hate, or you could just have one song that you pick and you use the same song every time. You just turn up the volume by % each time. Just say what the volume is going to be. Is it gone up by 3 bars? Is it going to be 6 bars, 8 bars, 10 bars? Be specific. And then here, your dependent, what you're measuring is where they've caught the ruler. So position of ruler caught, or where the ruler is caught in centimeters needs to be written there. Variable effect control table. Can you go back and listen to number 11? So you're number 16. Okay, so number 16, you need to go and watch video number 11 and see how I talk about control variables here, all right? Method, okay. You also need to go back and listen to number, oh, hang on, let me just double check. I'll give you a number to read about the method to see how you should write this up, because someone needs to be able to read this and carry it or experiment and get exactly the same results for it to be valid. And at the moment, you don't have a method. Okay, so if you go back and watch number 5, I read through their method and it's really good. You can use that method to write yours, okay? And then results table, you should have on this side, independent and dependent variable. Your independent variable goes on this side, dependent goes across the top. I remember it by what you need to buy alcohol. So ID, okay, I on that side, dependent on that side. So your independent variables, your volume of your music, or whatever you're doing with your music, okay? Dependent, position on the ruler caught in centimeters, all right? I don't know what these numbers mean because you've not written it up here. If you've got the conversion chart off the board and you've done seconds, then you need to write its reaction time in seconds, okay? Okay, so 17. Does listen to music slower reaction time? Perfect hypothesis. Reaction time will be, I think that the reaction time will be slower whilst listening to music as it will distract you. Lovely. You're going to change the person catching will listen to music. So music or no music, you need to be like, it's a bullet point, not a sentence, okay? I know you've written a sentence, which is great. So let me just look at results table. So you did music, poking and normal. Well, it's either music or no music. No poking needed, okay? Just change one thing. So, listening to music, all right, is your independent variable. Reaction time, also, sorry, you need to say that one of your control variables will be the song that you play needs to be the same every time. Dependent variable, the reaction time of someone whilst listening. What are you measuring? Okay, you're measuring where they catch it on the ruler. So you need to say position on ruler caught in centimeters. Control variables. Can you listen to number 11 for me? So go back, you're number 17. Can you go back to number 11 and just see what I say about the variable effect control table, please? Methods. I like the little picture. Maybe not necessary. If you go and listen to the video for number 5 about how they've written their method, you've written steps here, steps 1, 2, 3, and all that. It's not quite finished, okay? Lastly, record the results in a clear table. There's some steps missing here. If you read through number 5, because I read it for you, you'll be able to rewrite that up. So, I'm not sure where my video cut out. So, you need to use number 11 to help you with these bits. Okay, watch number 11. Your method looking really good. Repeat the test several times and calculate the mean distance that the ruler fell. You need to say 3 times, okay, 3 times. The person being tested should have a caffeine drink, like 300 mils of Coke. Not like, 300 mils, okay? That's a control variable. After 10 minutes, it's going to take 30 minutes for that to kick in, so not 10 minutes, 30 minutes. And then not do it all again. Repeat steps 1 to 5 again, all right? And that means that you will have said about having calculated the mean. Oh, sorry, 1 to 5, yeah? Results table, brilliant, looking good. What have you written in here? Because at the top it doesn't tell me. So if you've done the position of where it's caught, you need to write position of catch in centimeters. If you've used the board to convert it into a reaction time, then you're going to need to write reaction time in seconds.